Hello, and welcome to this live lunchtime chat where we are going to crush your chaos. I am Tiffany of the System Suite, and I'm excited to chat with you right now at this very moment to help you discover the solutions to organize your business in your life. Now, let me tell you, I am going to focus a lot more on your life first because that's more important. I said it, your life is more important than your business. Your life is more important than your business. So to help me with audio, if you can hear me, I want you to type that in the chat. Your life is more important than your business. You're watching me from various platforms, go ahead. And even if you're watching replay, go ahead and put that in the chat. Your life is more important than your business. And I am the chaos crusher. So I help solopreneurs get more done by doing less work. I love it. I love organization. I love systems. And I want you to kick chaos to the curb. Chaos is disorder and confusion. When things are not organized, when there is no order, when there is a lack of structure, it creates chaos. And for whatever reason, we have embraced that in our lives and in our businesses. And that's not what we want to do because you get overwhelmed and nothing in front of you is satisfying. You started this business, you started this nonprofit organization, you started this new initiative, you signed your kids up for a sport, and now you are unhappy with what's going on because it feels like you have too much to do and you're the only one doing it or you're the best one doing it. So if you can identify with that, go ahead and just like this video. I have been there. That has been me. I have been the best at the table. I've been the cream in the cup that has risen to the top. I have been the person that said yes and yes all over again, and not tooting my own horn. I'm just being honest. So let's keep going because I know that you're probably don't have much time at your disposal, but I want to get to the meat of today's chat. And don't forget, let me know where you are from. Tell me who you are, what you do, and where you are viewing from. And don't forget, this is for replay viewers as well. You are just as important as the live audience. So I used to be a bee, okay? I was a whole bee. I was busy, I was broken, and I was broke. Okay? I was busy, broken, and broke. I was the person who glamorized the lifestyle of hustling, grinding. I was team no sleep. For whatever reason, that made me feel good at that moment. I thought that I was doing it, and I thought that that was the prescription to heal my life. I was busy from the time I woke up. I'm talking about waking up 4 a.m., 5 a.m., and just getting my day started and not getting home until 10 o'clock at night. My body wasn't fully resting. I wasn't fully recovering. I was waking up, sending emails, shuffling emails, reading emails, creating content, checking on clients' work, driving to work, working all day. Then I was involved in my job heavily after work hours ended. Then at one point in time, I was continuing my higher education. So I was going to school, going to class, coming home, barely having time for myself, barely making time for life, just busy, thinking I was doing it because I was in motion. Okay. And because, just because, right? And then just broke. My activity was not lining up. My numbers was not adding up with my activity. I remember one year filing my taxes, and my tax accountant was like, yo, you're not making money. You need to focus on you. But for me at that time, I was like, oh, I'm not doing it for the money. And that was a lie. Of course, we're in business to serve people, and it's not about the money all at first, but you still need to be making money. Let's be honest about it. And then broken, because at the end of the day, I was this superwoman that was doing everything for everyone, helping everyone, but then there was nothing left for myself. And just ask yourself, How often do you put on that cape? How often do you show up for other people and no one shows up for you? How often is it that you receive an email to say, hey, how are you doing today? How can I help you? How often is it that you receive that text message that says, hey, how are you doing? Checking on you, hoping all is well. Most times on the reverse, it's people pulling on us. And I want to remind you before we get into the tips that I have for you today to crush chaos, I want to remind you that your cape is not a permanent garment. There are times when you should have that cape on, and there are times when you need to release that cape. Your cape is not a permanent garment. You have to know when to wear it and when to release it. And this is applicable to those who are solopreneurs and those who are just working their way through life. I'm going to talk about business and I'm going to talk about life. But I want you to know that as a woman, as a solopreneur, as a mom, as an aunt, married, unmarried, you have to make sure that you know when to wear the proper attire and the proper garments. And let me just add this on for those of you who are watching on various platforms. For those of us who are unwed so far and without kids as of right now, do not let people use your time, your talent, and your expertise all the more because you're without a spouse and because you're without children. That does not further validate you to do more work. People will assume that you have more money, time, and just, at your exposure just because you don't have those things in your life yet. So it is time for you to release. When it comes to crushing your chaos in life, again, chaos is disorder. Chaos is when things are not organized. Chaos is when you start to feel overwhelmed. We have to be preventative in our attempts. You have to be prepared to release people and their opinions. Let me tell you, when you start to protect your time, when you start doing things for yourself, people are going to have boundaries because they have certain expectations of you. And you have to release those unrealistic expectations. For whatever reason, we have embraced last minute things, right? And sometimes things do pop up, but when it's consistent and unrealistic, and when it's a constant thing of people always pulling on you, you have to remind yourself that your number is not 911. You have to release demands. You have to release the demands of people and demands of requests that do not give you any compensation. I have been blessed to work in different areas, different venues, in different groups, and different demographic and socioeconomic areas in organizations. And we operate in different ways. I've seen how women operate and I've seen how men operate. I've seen how Black women operate and I've seen how white men operate. Culturally, many times we're tied to obligations, we're tied to tasks, we're tied to requests and demands because of how we culturally operate. And so when you move against what the culture does, you are sometimes seen as a different person, and that's okay, but you have to release that. And you have to release tasks and obligations that are robbing you of your time. Now, listen, I'm talking about things that are robbing you of your time. So if you are a mom or an aunt and you're spending time with your family and your children have duties in sports and clubs, that's not robbing you of your time. That is you doing your duty as mom, auntie, cousin, right? I am not telling you go to divorce your spouse. That is out of order. Right? So if your spouse, if you have those obligations, those are not robbing you of your time. All right. So I just want to clear that up. Do not leave from here talking about Tiffany said, you robbing my time, I have to get rid of you. That is not the truth. So you have to understand, one, what you need to release or what you need to readjust. And this is the work. This is the work that we avoid because we don't want to do it. Why don't we want to do it, Tiffany? It's because it requires time. You have to understand what you need to release and let go, or what you need to readjust, because everything does not need to be changed in our lives, right? Hang on, I'm going to be done in 10 minutes. I promise you that. So the first thing that you need to do in order to crush the chaos in your life, oh my gosh, I'm all about order. is setting true boundaries and following your boundaries, right? Because we love to say, oh, I have boundaries, I have boundaries. And let me tell you, I have written my boundaries and I have articulated my boundaries. And my accountability partner, she keeps me in check. You hear me? She keeps me in check. So you have to understand, what are you going to do? What will you do and what will you allow in your time, in your space, and in your life? And what is it that you need to stop doing? What are you no longer going to allow? So, for example, I have universal boundary lines. And I'm going, if you register for this course, not this course, but if you register for this live chat, I'm going to like send you out kind of a template of how I've typed all of this out so you're not missing anything. But what will you allow in your space and in your life? And what are you going to cut out? For me, I had to cut out a whole lot because I'm a helper. I don't mind saying yes. If I know how to do something, I'm going to try to figure, I'm going to do it. If I don't, I'll try to figure it out. So one of my universal boundary lines is I don't sit for meetings after a certain time of day. So I am active, in my job and other organizations. I just help, right? But I am not going to Zoom meet my life away. So I have a boundary. I am not accepting any meetings, or I am not sitting through any meetings after a certain time of day. My phone, I'm thankful for the new feature on Apple devices where we could put our phones on do not disturb, but I was a do not disturb person way before we had that feature. I am not going to entertain phone calls and text messages at certain times of the day. Why did I come up with these boundaries? Because I have received text messages at 4:00 in the morning. I have received text messages before 7:00 in the morning. I have received messages at 10:00 at night, 11:00 at night. Now that works for some people, but that is something that I cannot accept. That is something that I cannot allow. And those text messages were asking me to do things. Those text messages were requesting of me. And I had to say, wait a minute, how did I place myself in this position to be the go-to person? When you set those boundaries, understand that you are setting up a safety net. You are setting up a safety net. So those of you who are on YouTube, if you will put that in the chat box, safety net. Boundaries are a safety net. So you have to ask yourself, what don't you like? What do you no longer want to tolerate? And you have to write that down as your boundary. That's a line that people cannot cross. There are even some times where we have to make sure that we have boundaries with coworkers. It's a new thing now, on your job for people to have your phone number. You don't have to give your cell phone number out to people. You don't have to give your social media handles out to people, social media handles, usernames. You don't have to give that information out. You don't have to pick up the phone for your boss at night. You have to know what the boundaries are for yourself. And again, be okay with that and release that. Release that. Hey, Tanisha of the Pink Queen Foundation. Yes, safety net. So you have to know what boundaries you're going to set in place. Write them down. Tell at least one person and be okay with that. And I am going to share out my template. I'm going to share out my template. I'm going to show you what that looks like right here. So write out your boundaries. So this is literally what I have typed in the Pages app of my Mac, right? This is what I have written out in my Pages. Sitting with myself, breaking it down to honor myself, my time, and my life. You have to honor yourself. You have to honor, hi, Regina. Hi, Dion. Hi, Kaisha. Welcome. You have to sit down and honor yourself. You have to honor your time in your life. Let me tell you one thing that I realized, and I had to share this with my accountability partner. And I was like, you know what? I spend so much time doing that I don't even sit down to breathe. I don't sit down to breathe. And I was like, my dog, he's 12, although he's happy, jumping, and healthy, he may not be here for 12 more years. I need to sit down and breathe. My mom, I don't even see her as much, so I have to make time for her. So I have 3 categories where I set those boundaries. I have boundaries for life and family, business, philanthropy, and I have universal boundary lines. I'm going to have fun. I'm going to relax. I'm going to stop and thank God for what he's done for me. This is just a template of what you could do to say, I'm going to make sure that I have life and family in check, business in check, and anything else extra in check. And I'm going to send out this template to you because we're crushing chaos. We have to sit down and we have to do the work. So the first thing I want you to do is set boundaries. What are you going to do? What are you going to allow? And what are you not going to do? And what are you not going to allow? And trust me, it's okay. People will find other people to do things for them. You don't have to be the only person doing everything. And let me tell you, having boundaries and systems in your business is so important. I'm not talking about systems today. I'm talking about crushing chaos. That'll be a discussion for another time. So make sure you connect with me online at thesystemsuite.com. And we have about 3 more minutes left. Next, you want to schedule your day. You have to design your day. No longer do I adjust my life for people. If you follow me on Instagram, and I am Tiff Marshall, I posted about a few days ago saying, don't fill your life with other people's agenda. If you have no schedule for your life, you are always going to be on somebody else's agenda. As soon as they call you, you're going to do it. You're just going to be in yin yang all day because you have not designed what you're going to do for that day. If you find me, you will find me, or if you see me, right, you will find me with my planner. I have my planner and I have it outlined what I'm doing for that day. I literally have a whole schedule. I type out my schedule every day for what I'm doing the next day. Why? Because I want to accommodate what I need to do. If I'm in something, I want to be committed to it. If I can't commit to it, I need to articulate that, right? So people say, oh, you're busy. No, I'm not busy. I'm organized. So I do a lot, but everything is on the schedule. So here's what I do. I literally have a spreadsheet schedule that outlines what I'm doing for that day. So there was a point in time in my life where I was not working full time. And then there's a point in time where I wasn't, where I was and where I wasn't. So I know how to adjust my schedule. So if you look at the schedule I have here on the screen for you, each day is allotted to a task. So you will see on Mondays and Wednesdays, I focus on systems. I focus on my business, right? On Tuesdays, I focus on my marketing. On Thursdays, I focus on myself, my personal development. Here's an epiphany I had. If my job, right, will send me to professional development to be a better employee for them, why am I not sending myself to personal development to be a better person for myself? So this is the day where I catch up on my reading. I work on certifications. I watch YouTube videos to make myself a smarter and sharper individual. Fridays is my catch-up day. Saturday, I create, I organize, and you can't see Sunday, but Sunday is organization day as well. I have what I'm doing daily, and I have my to-dos and what I'm not going to do, right? Look at my undos. I am not accepting 24-hour requests. So somebody say, hey, can you do this tomorrow? I probably can, but I'm not going to commit to that because I don't want to give you a yes when I can't do it, right? I am not checking emails before 11 o'clock in the morning. And I'm not going to accept any meetings that take place after 8 p.m. because what are we meeting about after 8 o'clock p.m.? I don't even want to train myself to do that as somebody's wife, as somebody's mother one day. So you have to, again, design your day, set your boundaries and design your day. List out where you're going to do it. And let me tell you, when you give each task, thank you so much, Tanisha. Tanisha says, I love this. Regina says boundaries. And I see some Zoom comments as well that I can't pull up at this very moment. When you give every task of your day a time, you will see that you don't have time to play. When you see that you give every task a time, you do not have time to play. You do not have time to pick up the phone every time somebody calls you, right? You need to set your schedule. And so this is what I want you to do to release the chaos in your life. You have to release some things you just need to stop doing. You just can't do it anymore because it's overwhelming you. And what would it be like? Like my fear, I have a fear of failure. We should not fear, but let me just be honest. I cannot reach 60 years old and look back on my life and be like, shoulda, coulda, woulda, because I was just tickling my fancy of being busy and doing things. I read a book by Dr. Dennis Kimbro, and it's titled The Wealth Choice. And he talks about money in life. And he talks about how lower income people, middle income people, and higher income people, what they do and how they operate based upon how they see life and how they work their money, right? My goal is to position myself to use my presence, my influence, and my money as a tool. I don't want to be around here working to get money to where it's stressing me and thinning me out. We have to think differently, right? I was going to go back to school and get a doctorate degree, but why? Let me position myself in a place to master a skill to get the money and bless millions of people. I have 2 degrees I'm sitting on, and if you ask me, I wouldn't mind returning them. God, I'm grateful. I'm grateful. I'm not complaining, but my mindset is different. So what must you release? What must you readjust? There's some things that you're doing, but you really, you just can't release it because you're committed to it, and that's okay. And if you look at my schedule, just one quick moment, you'll see how I have things highlighted and categorized for personal, work, business. I have to color code and see the percentage of time I'm giving to each task. Okay. Set your boundaries and set your schedules. This is how you're going to start to crush chaos in your life. I thank you so much for your attention. You can always find out more about me and what I do specifically for solopreneurs and setting up their systems and automation at thesystemsuite.com. And if you are in the South Florida area, I invite you rather to meet me for the one-day intensive that we're going to have in West Palm Beach on Saturday, November 5th. You can scan this code, screenshot, meet me there. But we're going to walk through setting up your systems. This is for solopreneurs who have a service-based business and just getting you organized. What forms do you need on hand? What emails do your clients need? Because we have to stop being the secretaries in our business. We have to stop shuffling paperwork. We have to stop working in our business and learn on scaling our business and not just building our businesses. So I thank you so much. I hope that I was able to help you. Like this, share this out. I thank you so much for your time, and make sure that you go out, be organized, and we are going to crush chaos and kick it to the side, because being out of order is not in order. Have a great one. Thank you, Dia. I'm going to repost your comment. Thank you for being here. Love you, girl. Awesome. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Hey, Kaisha, thank you all for coming. Thank you for your time.